The Hussman School of Journalism and Media at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
Take me out to the ball game and take me back to the Bosch because it's Carolina baseball's opening weekend.
And the excitement is higher than ever for the Diamond Heels, but if they don't win, it's a shame. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Joshua Dolgoff.
And I'm Ashley Humphrey. Thanks for joining us. But first, Carmichael was jumping as the women's basketball team faced off against the Pittsburgh Panthers last night. The Heels struggled to score early on, but fought hard on defense, limiting Pitt to 6 points in the first quarter. Shots by Alyssa Utsby and Deja Kelly helped the Heels maintain their small lead, but the Panthers stormed back to take a 29-27 halftime lead. The Heels offense finally got going with a 17-4 run to start the second half. However, the Panthers would answer back again with an 11-point run of their own to tie the game at 46. Carolina would pull away in the fourth quarter as Lexi Donarski made one of her 6 three-pointers of the night. Donarski's 20 points helped the Heels break their 4-game losing streak as they sent the Panthers packing 75-62.
Yeah, no, it feels good. Those are the shots that we work on all the time. If I ever pass one up, I had almost every person on the team like, no, we want you to take that shot. So it feels good that my teammates trust me and I trust them.
The Heels got themselves a much-needed win, but not without a few close calls. Our women's basketball analyst Daniel Masterson takes us down the lane to tell us how they were able to pull away with this one. Daniel?
Ashley, going into the second half of this game, this was looking like one of the biggest disasters of a performance I have ever seen on the basketball court. But whatever Courtney Banghart said at halftime clearly rang true in guard Lexi Donarski because she came out on fire to start the third quarter. The biggest part of that, the Heels were able to scheme her open good looks. This is the second play of the second half for the Heels, and they're going to dump it down to Alyssa Utsby in the paint. And look at that. Donarski's man is immediately coming to double team from the weak side, but when she gets there, it's kind of a soft double. It allows Utsby to slip out, and when you give Donarski that much space, that's how you get her going after a slow first half. And once she's in confidence, that's when you know you can let it fly. Pitt is in man in this one, and they're sagging off a little bit. Utsby sees that, and it's a simple pass over the top. Donarski rips it immediately, and that's easy money for the shooter. And now, you're hot. Then you can take advantage of missed coverages. This is an inbounds play with Deja Kelly. She's going to trigger the action. And as you see here, this is Donarski's man doubling Maria Gokdang to prevent a layup down low. Technically what you should do, but when you got a shooter as hot as Donarski in the corner there, that is too easy a look, and she is fired up. Look at this passion she's showing right there. She knows that's a huge shot. If this team wants any level of success moving forward, they have to play through their shooters. And right now, their only consistent shooter, well, that's Lexi Donarski. Ashley?
Daniel, a win is a win, but this game was looking way too close early on. What can the Heels take away?
I think it's pretty simple. They learned you have to play inside out with this team. Now, what does that mean? That means you want to get it down low in order to kick it out for three. You're playing outside primarily. Their inside presence just isn't that strong this year, and if they can get their shooters going like Lexi and Deja, well, I think that's their best chance to stick with teams on offense.
Well, we'll see if they can make those chances against Wake Forest tomorrow. Thanks, Daniel.
After a disappointing road loss to Syracuse on Tuesday night, the men's basketball team is looking for redemption in the Dean Dome. This is the third consecutive week that the Tar Heels will enter a weekend matchup following a tough Tuesday loss. This time they'll take on the Virginia Tech Hokies, who are coming off a Tuesday night win against Florida State. The Heels will need to close in on rebounds and limit turnovers if they want to get back in the win column. Tip-off is set for 2 p.m. tomorrow. UNC has been on a slide as of late, losing 3 of their last 5. Let's go to the top of the key to see what's tripping up the Heels. Ahmad?
Joshua, in the past 3 games since the rushing of Franklin, Carolina hasn't answered the bell. They're 1 of 2, including 2 awful losses to Clemson and Syracuse. And once again, it comes down to late game execution. Let's go to the last 90 seconds of Tuesday night's game. Syracuse is known for their 2-3 zone, and they've played it all night long. Down 5, Carolina needs a bucket to stay in the game. The ball's going to start at the bottom of the screen, but find its way up to R.J. Davis. And right here, everything's gone right. Armando Bacot has flashed to the middle of the zone, Harrison Ingram's cutting back door, and this is what you want because there are open guys all over the floor. They're going to keep passing the ball around, but right here, this is where things go wrong because Armando Bacot needs to attack because that's the best way to beat a zone. Instead, he's looking to the corner to pass, and that pass just comes too early. It allows Syracuse to recover, come up with that steal, that forces the turnover. And now with just over 60 seconds to go, Carolina's down 7, and the Heels are going to run that same action because it works. Cormac Ryan is going to end up getting the ball, and again, everything goes right. There are 2 open guys, Harrison Ingram and Armando Bacot, who's going to be on that elbow. But instead of finding one of them, Ryan throws an inaccurate pass, and it forces a turnover, which that's ball game. There's no magic formula for the Heels. It's about getting back to basics and finishing games. That's the end of it. No crazy solution, no need to call a rocket scientist. It's about getting back to consistent basketball.
Amon, you mentioned the struggles through the past 3 games. The Heels have failed to score 10 points in the last 4 minutes in each of those games. What needs to change?
I think the Heels need to be way more aggressive, Joshua. After the game, Hubert Davis said, because of their zone, we didn't attack the basket and get to the free throw line as much as we have this season. And that's just mind-blowing to me, because the best way to beat a zone is to be aggressive and penetrate it. The Heels need to find that gear late in games.
Heels really struggling to generate offense down the stretch. That has to get fixed. Now, looking toward Virginia Tech tomorrow, UNC's backcourt is going to have their hands full with Sean Padula and Hunter Couture, 2 great scorers and shooters who combine for 30 points per game. What do the Heels need to do to shut them down?
Joshua, I think it comes down to discipline. This team runs a lot of pick and rolls, and anytime that second defender goes under, you might as well add 3 points to the scoreboard. The Hokies are coming off that big win against Florida State where they took advantage of sloppy rotations. I know it's the obvious thing to say, but disciplined defense is going to be the key to the game.
You know what they say, hand down, man down. Got to make sure you close out. Thanks, Amon.
The women's lacrosse team is facing off in a top 15 matchup against Florida. Each team has suffered a loss this season, which means they're both hungry for the win. The last time the Tar Heels and Gators faced off, UNC won 12-5. Star players Caitlin Wurzberger and Riley Casey had a combined total of 4 goals and 2 assists. The duo will need to step up big time to secure this victory, especially because of the injuries that are haunting the Heels. The matchup is Saturday morning on Dorrance Field.
Following a season-opening win against Mercer, the UNC men's lacrosse team is looking to start the season 2-0 as they face off against Fairfield tomorrow. This marks the first time these 2 teams have matched up since 2013. The Heels are coming off a 13-5 victory against Mercer last Saturday, where Carolina was powered by a dominant second half, outscoring the Bears 8-2. Graduate attackman Logan McGovern has led the way so far for the Heels, tallying 7 points with 3 goals and 4 assists. This will be the second straight neutral site game for Carolina to open the season. Opening faceoff is set for noon on Saturday in North Bethesda, Maryland. Last semester, he was inside the cage. This semester, he's at the X. Let's go to our men's lacrosse analyst, Riley Kennedy, to see what has worked for the boys so far this season. Riley?
Now, Josh, UNC's transition game helped them win against Mercer. 4 out of 13 goals were in transition. Mercer as a team, 5 goals. UNC had 4 just in transition. Let's take a look at the first 2 goals of the game, both in transition. So now Mercer, okay, they're going to get top side, fired on Krieg. Okay, good save. Now it's attackman for Mercer. Does a good job, right? Reads the ball, behind the back shot, saved. Okay, this is amazing, okay? Krieg outlets it, right, to one of his guys to a midi. And again here, so now this is spacing. So now what do you hear on the bench, okay? What do you know? Get in the hole. Right? He's going to pick him up. He's going to try to stop the ball. Paul Barr, when we see defenders run, they're probably going to get back the ball, okay? Spacing, this is beautiful. Respect the deep pull as a shooter. Barton gets one to go, okay? Now, on the second one, Mercer's just going to jam the middle, okay? The ball gets inserted to the middle, and now a short stick defensive mid, he's going to pick it up. Now head up, right? Ground balls wins you games, right? It's possessions. Get it to Krieg. He's going to outlet it again, okay? Barton, right? Now respect him, so they're going to respect him. He's going to drop in the hole, okay? Again, just spacing. This is transition. Petramala catches it. If you're this defender, okay, you're hot. What does that mean? You're the guy to go. If Petramala's going to dodge, he doesn't dodge. He finds McGovern on the backside. McGovern gets it to go in transition. Now, both goals off amazing clears. UNC, 93% in their clears. Transition is just another way the Tar Heels are putting away the goals.
Riley, you talked about transition play, and it starts by getting stops. They did a great job of that in Game 1, like you said, but what do the Heels need to continue doing defensively against Fairfield?
Yeah, Georgetown prep, right in neutral site. UNC, third in the country, defensive efficiency. They got a good goalie, good short stick defensive midfielders, good LSMs, good close defensemen. They're all buying into the system. That's what's going to do it, right, if they're going to beat Fairfield.
And as we always say about your field hockey team, defense wins championships. Thanks, Riley.
The Diamond Heels look for a Grand Slam start to the season today as they host Wagner College for a weekend at the Bosch. ACC Defensive Player of the Year Vance Honeycutt is back for his junior season, continuing his legendary Carolina campaign and hoping to solidify himself as a top MLB draft pick. Also, watch for senior infielder Jason Vandenbrink to keep the high-flying Heels offense going. Last season, he led ACC's second baseman in hits, doubles, walks, and runs during the regular season. You can catch Carolina baseball today at 4 for the first of 3 games this weekend. Now, Joshua, obviously a big piece from the team that we're missing from last year is Matt Horvath. He was our most consistent hitter, and we already know what Vandenbrink and Honeycutt can bring to the plate, but who else do you think needs to step up?
I feel like someone we haven't really talked about enough. It's Casey Cook. As a redshirt freshman, he hit .317, and this guy always seems to get on base. 44 consecutive games last year, he reached the base safely. That was a UNC freshman record, and assuming he's leading off again this year, getting him on base makes those home runs from big hitters like Hunter Stokely and Vance Honeycutt. It makes us that much sweeter.
Should be a strong top of the order for the Heels this season. And then on the pitching side, we have 2 freshman pitchers opening this weekend. That's almost unheard of. Folger Boaz is pitching today, and Olin Johnson's pitching game 3. And we really need an ace pitcher to step up in Jake Knapp's absence, so we'll see if one of them will be dealing in their debut. Now for Carolina softball, the team went to the Clearwater Invitational yesterday to face the number 18 Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky started out with a huge lead in the top of the first, and things didn't look great for the Heels. But the Heels got the bats rolling like this huge swing from redshirt sophomore catcher Isabella Emmerling that ended up driving in 2 runs to put the Heels up 7-6 in the bottom of the third. The scoring would continue, and the Heels found themselves down late in the bottom of the 7th, but Carolina was able to take advantage of Kentucky's fielding and get to home plate to narrow down the lead to 2. But Kentucky's pitching stopped the Heels late to hand them their first loss 12-10. The Heels record is now 4-1.
The Gym Heels will compete against Pitt tonight at Carmichael Arena, still in search of their first ACC win of the season. UNC struggled against Pitt on the road 2 weeks ago, but the Heels hope to redeem themselves in their second-to-last home meet of the season. In just a week, Carolina improved on vault and bars with Lali Dekanoitsa leading the events. The Tar Heels struggled on beam against NC State with back-to-back falls from Ellie King and Haley Thompson. The Tar Heels will need to keep their composure on beam if they want to be victorious tonight. Now that the Carolina wrestling team finally got their first win in conference against, you guessed it, Pitt, the Heels will pivot and take on Virginia in Charlottesville tonight. Last Friday, the Heels were on fire, and they plan to keep that up against the Cavaliers. Last time the Heels took on Virginia, they came out of the match with a 30-9 dub. More than half of the wrestlers from last year are gone, so new faces will have to step up. Be on the lookout for Tyler Ishins to keep up his 3-match win streak with takedowns like this one. Number 5, Lachlan McNeil, will also need to show out with more escapes and takedowns like these in order for the Heels to come out with a win.
With no show on Monday, we selected this week's Play of the Week. This one is from the women's lacrosse team's win against Liberty, and you might recognize one of these names. Take a look at this assist in the last minute of the game from transfer Ashley Humphrey to midfielder Darcy Felter, who puts this clean behind-the-back goal, putting the game away 19-6 and securing their first win of the season. Fans hope we'll see more behind-the-back shots like this tomorrow as the Heels face Florida.
Playing a sport translates to many other things in life. Bethany Pryor tells us how one athlete on the men's club volleyball team uses the sport to give him the home court advantage as a realtor.
UNC has many incredible club teams. The UNC men's club volleyball team is one of the most passionate and competitive, even though many of the athletes had never stepped foot on the volleyball court until they attended UNC.
So just having a lot of fun playing with my friends. I just wanted to keep playing. So I just tried to find opportunities to keep playing here at Carolina.
Corey Brandon joined the team just looking to have fun, but volleyball has helped him succeed in so much more than on the court. He got his real estate license in May.
I always had a passion for real estate in high school. As a real estate agent, at the end of the day, you're competing. And it's like that same competitive spirit I have on the court.
Corey's competitive nature is why he succeeds in both volleyball and real estate.
I try to bring that into my business and my business world and my networking, and I want to sell more houses. I want to get out there. I want to be, ambitious, and I'm already in college and doing this, so it kind of already is ambition, but I want to be one of the best at it.
Volleyball isn't only a physical sport, it's a mental game as well. Corey has learned that real estate is the same way.
All in my mind. It's I need to learn more. I need to connect skills, those things, that's all mental. So I'm a mental in the real estate field, as far as strength, then they're going to coincide.
Corey has learned that volleyball hasn't only helped him with real estate, but with all aspects of his life. His teammates are ultimately what keep him going.
We're in this together, and they're gonna obviously motivate you and coach you along the way. And that spirit of never giving up that they instill in me, I can take that into the real estate industry as well.
I'm Bethany Pryor, reporting.
Now, Ashley, last year we talked about our potential walk-up songs, but in honor of opening weekend, I have to ask again, what song are you going with?
No, Josh, I think it's an obvious choice for me. It's Turn My Swag On by Soulja Boy. What about you?
Now, last year I went with a J. Cole song, but after seeing the Super Bowl halftime show, how can I not roll with an Usher song? I wish I was as smooth as him, but I just know he would get me so locked in before going yard. I can already see it. Deep line drive to center field, crowd goes crazy.
Josh, I hate to break it to you, but I think it's more likely it's going to be a pop fly. And that does it for this edition of Sports Extra. We'll be back on Monday covering another exciting weekend of Carolina athletics.